Why is it when you want to talk to a Christian about facts, they cut the conversation short? Have you ever noticed that? They cut it short right away. Are they afraid that God sees them? They can't be seen doing that. What are they afraid of? If you were talking about the weather or politics or any other subject, they never cut you short. Maybe they have a lot to say about that. But if you talk about God, I've experienced many times where people will say, well, you just have to have faith. You just have to have faith. I had one lady say to me, you're trying to steal my faith away. And I was taken aback. I was like, I'm not trying to steal her faith away. How can you steal something that isn't tangible? How can you do that? I mean, faith is not something you can feel or touch. It's not something you can see or you can hear. And I was simply just showing her things out of the Bible. It freaked her out because she said, oh, that couldn't be in the Bible. I said, well, I'm showing you the King James Version. Yes, it is in the Bible. This is an actual verse. And she said I was trying to steal her faith away. And I realized at that point it wasn't worth even trying. I had never meant, to cause trouble or have a problem with her, but all of a sudden from that point forward, I was somebody that needed to be shunned for a while anyway, for a long while. And I have experienced that this happens in more cases than not. I mean, it's kind of sad. There are people who like a debate, and I realized a long time ago, because when I first deconverted, there were a lot of people on forums that you could debate with, and you go round and round, round and round. You present all your facts, things about the Bible, the fact that nobody knows the gospel writers, nobody knows the actual authors. Things like there's two creation stories. Of course, that's another situation that you could go on about. It's more in depth than that, but I'm just giving you an example. You could talk about the fact that Moses could not have written about his own death. There's so many things that you stumble upon when you're starting to question your religion. Christianity is what I'm referring to. And all of these things are easy to find out if you really dig. And scholars have done a lot of research, and you can find proof that some of these things are completely valid statements. Interpolations that were put into certain documents that apologists like to use. It just gets really deep. And if some people have never even thought about it, I mean, you can't have a really in-depth conversation about it. I mean, there's no way they know what the heck you're talking about. And there's a lot of atheists who've discovered this. I've noticed that's why we're atheists, because we did our research. But unless you have, you're probably going to go on being a Christian. And there's a lot of people who find this research and then they say, well, I still know there's a God. Well, that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with anybody's belief system. I just don't like when other people's opinions about a certain thing affect my life. And once I stepped out of that box, I realized I was a serious minority, and probably the most disliked minority in my social setting. And it makes it hard for people to really just want to talk about it. And if you bring it up to people, you have these kind of reactions. They're really severe reactions sometimes. One neighbor I talked to showed them Ken's Guide to the Bible, a cute little book with very simple things in it that are, just looking at different verses, the ridiculousness of some of them and everything. That person wouldn't speak to us after that. I mean, there's a lot of things that you experience once you step out of the box. And I think that is where I have this feeling of it's just not worth bothering. A lot of times you can bother all you want, but you're not going to get the result that you wish. It isn't the fact that it isn't worth trying. I'm not saying that. It's just really crazy what happens when you end up in this particular stance.